What if ancient humans became America's army? Imagine the United States suddenly had a new army. No tanks, no fighter jets, no satellites, no rifles, no drones. Instead, imagine thousands of prehistoric Homo sapiens standing on a modern military base, holding stone tools, wearing animal skins, and staring at an Abrams tank like it is some kind of angry metal animal. Then someone gives them an order: defend America. At first, this sounds like the easiest military disaster imaginable. Put an ancient human next to a modern soldier, and the comparison seems ridiculous. One has a rifle, body armor, night vision, radios, vehicles, satellites, and decades of accumulated military knowledge. The other has a stone blade and experience hunting. But there is a strange problem with that comparison. The ancient human is not stupid. He is us. His brain is fundamentally human. He can learn, communicate, cooperate, plan, imitate, remember, solve problems, and adapt. And the people we call ancient were already doing things that required remarkable coordination. Archaeological evidence shows early humans developed sophisticated hunting strategies, specialized tools, and long-term planning tens of thousands of years ago. So if you dropped a prehistoric human into the American military, the interesting question would not be, could he beat a modern soldier? Obviously not. The interesting question is, how much of an ancient human's survival brain would still work inside the most technologically complicated military on Earth? And the answer gets weird very quickly. The first day would probably be chaos. Imagine taking someone from a world without electricity, engines, or written instructions and putting them inside a military base. A door opens automatically. A vehicle starts without an animal. A voice comes from a radio. A screen shows a map of a place hundreds of miles away. A helicopter rises into the air. A jet screams across the sky, and then a soldier tells the ancient human that all of these machines belong to his group. The ancient human would probably spend a lot of time simply watching. And that is important, because watching was not a hobby in the prehistoric world. It was survival. If you were living in a small hunter-gatherer group, you could not afford to completely ignore your surroundings. A strange sound could mean an animal. A change in tracks could mean another group had passed through. A sudden silence could mean something was wrong. The behavior of other people could reveal danger before anyone said a word. Modern soldiers are trained to pay attention too, but the ancient human had no choice. His environment was constantly asking him questions. Where did that animal go? Why did the bird suddenly stop making noise? Who made those tracks? Why is that person behaving differently? Where is everyone looking? What changed? Those instincts could actually be useful. But then the military would give him a weapon, and this is where things go terribly wrong. Imagine handing a prehistoric human a modern rifle. He would understand one part immediately. It is a weapon. Humans have been making weapons for a very long time. Archaeological evidence includes hunting weapons hundreds of thousands of years old, and research on prehistoric hunting shows that some forms of hunting required close cooperation between multiple people. But the rifle itself would be completely alien. It makes a sound louder than anything he has experienced. It throws something farther and faster than he can see. It does not require him to get close, and it can kill from a distance that would have seemed almost magical. At first, he might treat it like an extremely powerful spear. Then he would discover the trigger, and suddenly the military would have a new problem. He has learned how to fire it, but he has no idea why he should not point it at something. That is the difference between having a weapon and being a soldier. A soldier does not simply learn how to make something dangerous work. He learns when to use it, when not to use it, how to identify threats, how to communicate, how to follow rules, how to operate as part of a larger unit, and how to make decisions under pressure. The ancient human already understands one part of that equation better than we might expect. The group. Human survival has always depended heavily on cooperation. Studies of hunter-gatherer societies show extensive cooperation, food sharing, and complex social networks. Research on hunter-gatherer storytelling has even suggested that stories could help organize cooperative behavior and communicate social expectations. So give an ancient human a group and a shared goal, and you may have something surprisingly powerful. He understands that the person next to him matters. If one person fails, everyone can suffer. If someone sees danger, everyone needs to know. If food is found, it may need to be shared. If the group moves, you move with it. The military also runs on coordination. That part might feel strangely familiar, but then comes the modern military's biggest advantage. Information. An American soldier can receive an order from someone hundreds of miles away. A satellite can provide information from space. Aircraft can see enormous areas. Computers can process data. Radios allow units to communicate almost instantly. Maps can show terrain in extraordinary detail. Modern forces can coordinate people and machines across enormous distances. The ancient human has none of this. His information is local. He knows what he can see, what he can hear, what he remembers, what another person tells him. That limitation would be devastating. Imagine the ancient human standing in a forest. He knows the forest. He knows how to move quietly. He knows how to read tracks. He knows where water might be, but then a drone appears overhead. He looks up. There is no animal, no bird, no person, just a small machine watching him from the sky. His ancient instincts would be screaming, "Something is following us," and for once, the instinct would be correct. But he would have no idea what the machine is doing. That is the problem with putting an ancient human into modern warfare. The battlefield is no longer just a physical place. It can be the sky. It can be the electromagnetic spectrum. It can involve satellites, computers, communications, and information systems. The ancient human is incredibly good at surviving inside the environment he can understand. The modern military has built an environment that is almost impossible to understand without years of training. And yet, there is one area where the ancient human might actually outperform the modern recruit: discomfort. Modern humans are surrounded by conveniences: heat, air conditioning, electric lights, refrigeration, clean running water, instant communication, vehicles, comfortable beds, food available at almost any hour. A prehistoric human had none of these. That does not mean ancient humans were superhuman. It means their daily lives required constant adaptation to environmental conditions. Archaeological evidence shows Homo sapiens occupied remarkably diverse environments, including extremely cold regions, and developed different strategies and technologies to survive them. So imagine an American military exercise in brutal weather. Modern soldiers are exhausted. The ancient humans are also exhausted, but the ancient humans are looking at the weather differently. They are watching the wind, the ground, the trees, the clouds, the available shelter. They are asking where they can find water, where they can stay warm, where they can hide from the elements. They do not need to be comfortable to function. Their entire existence was built around adaptation. That could make them excellent survival specialists. But now, give them a city, and everything changes again. A modern city would be almost incomprehensible. Cars everywhere, buildings taller than cliffs, thousands of people, artificial lights at night, elevators, glass, traffic signals, sirens, cameras, phones, airplanes. The ancient human might actually prefer the forest, because at least the forest makes sense, and that reveals something important. Technology does not simply make the modern world more powerful. It makes the modern world more complicated. An ancient human could understand a fire. He could understand a spear. He could understand a trail. He could understand a group of people. But he would struggle to understand the invisible systems connecting modern society. A soldier today is not just fighting with a weapon. He is operating inside a network. His equipment connects to other equipment. His decisions affect other units. Information moves through systems. Orders come through layers of command. And mistakes can have consequences thousands of miles away. The woe. Ancient human would be entering a world where the most important things are often the things he cannot see. That would be terrifying. But here's the twist. The ancient human might also teach the modern soldier something. Modern humans have spent thousands of years becoming better at controlling the environment. Ancient humans became better at reading it. We build roads instead of following animal trails. We use weather forecasts instead of watching the clouds. We use GPS instead of remembering landscapes. We use refrigerators instead of tracking seasonal food. We use phones instead of relying on memory. We use machines to extend our senses. That is incredible. But it also means modern humans can become less dependent on their own instincts. The ancient human would have almost no technology, but his attention would be constantly switched on. He would notice the things modern equipment might not immediately explain. A strange smell, an unusual silence, a person behaving differently, a trail that does not belong, a change in weather, a small environmental detail that everyone else ignored. He would not replace the technology, he would complement it. And that is where our imaginary army finally becomes interesting. The ancient humans would not become America's tanks. They would not become fighter pilots overnight. They would not replace modern soldiers. But imagine using them as a kind of extreme survival unit. People who are comfortable without electricity. People who can move through difficult terrain. People who understand natural signs. People who can improvise tools. People who already understand cooperation at a very basic level. That could be valuable. Of course, there is another problem. Command. An ancient human does not understand America. He does not understand the Constitution. He does not understand national borders. He does not understand elections. He does not understand why millions of strangers belong to one political country. His idea of a group might be dozens of people. America is hundreds of millions. That scale would be almost impossible to emotionally understand. Imagine telling him, "You are protecting your country." He might ask, "Where is the country?" You point to a map. He looks at it. You explain that the country extends thousands of miles in every direction. He might ask, "Who knows all these people?" Nobody. And that might be the biggest cultural shock of all. Ancient humans were built for small communities. Modern states are built for enormous populations. The military is one of the systems humans invented to make cooperation possible at a scale that our ancestors could never have experienced. Thousands of people who have never met can follow the same plan. They can wear the same uniform, use the same symbols, follow the same rules, trust people they have never seen, and move toward a goal that may be thousands of miles away. That is not completely different from what ancient humans did. It is the same basic human ability, just multiplied beyond recognition. So what would happen if ancient humans became America's army? At first, they would be terrible soldiers. They would not understand the weapons. They would not understand the technology. They would not understand the government. They would not understand the scale. They would probably be terrified by machines we now consider ordinary. But give them time. Teach them language. Teach them modern systems. Teach them discipline. And something strange would happen. They would stop being ancient. They would become modern humans. Because the biggest mistake in this thought experiment is imagining that an ancient human would stay frozen in the past. They would learn. Their ancestors learned how to make stone tools. They learned how to hunt new animals. They learned how to survive new climates. They learned how to cooperate with strangers. They learned how to cross continents. They adapted again and again. That ability to adapt is probably one of the most important reasons Homo sapiens survived in the first place. So the ancient human would not remain a caveman standing next to a tank. He would eventually learn what the tank is. He would learn what the radio does. He would learn the rifle. He would learn the uniform. He would learn the map. He would learn the rules. And after enough time, the most surprising part would not be how different he is from the modern soldier. It would be how quickly he starts becoming one. Because underneath the technology, the uniforms and the machines, is something much older. A group of humans trying to protect one another, watching the environment, sharing information, following leaders, making tools, taking risks, learning from mistakes, and cooperating when survival depends on it. The weapons changed, the battlefield changed, the size of the group changed, but the basic human ability that made the whole thing possible was already there. Long before America existed, long before armies existed, long before anyone had written a word, humans were already learning how to survive together. And maybe that is the strangest part of imagining an ancient human army. The ancient humans would have to learn modern warfare, but modern humans would have to remember something ancient. Technology can make you powerful, but knowing how to survive together is much older than technology itself.